Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, ask and answer a question, preview comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. This month is Adoption Awareness Month. It's a time to honor families that have grown through adoption, recognize the hundreds of thousands of children waiting for permanent families, spreading awareness of adoption, and advocating the well-being and future of children in foster care. Now, this is an Adoption Awareness Comic Hero tee. In the side of the speech bubble, you have the hearts. There are white hearts and there are blue hearts. Now, the white hearts represent all men, women, boys, and girls that have ever been adopted, and the blue hearts represent children that are currently in foster care, waiting to be adopted. And then here on the left sleeve, you have the universal symbol of adoption, and here on the right sleeve, you have the word adoption and words that go along with it, with the heart at the very bottom. And all these words and the heart all form to shape a heart. Now, if you would like your very own, you can find them on my website, imthecomichero.com, for $17. Now, I personally know some folks that were adopted, and I personally know some folks that have gone the route of adoption. And here's the one thing about adoption. It's not just a process, it's a journey. When you take a child without a family and bring him into your own family, I can't think of anything that's more beautiful than that. Now, this episode was supposed to have been done at the end of last week, but I had a lot of things going on. I had work, and then also had a special project I was working on for someone. So as I'm doing this episode, it's the early morning of November 22nd, which is 2 days before Thanksgiving. So I'm also going to do another episode later this week. And because of that, I'm only going to give away a free t-shirt on this episode. I'm not going to give away a free t-shirt on episode 423, which I'm doing in a few days. So that being said, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. On the last episode, I asked, which Spider-Man villain once switched bodies with Spider-Man, assumed his dual identity as Peter Parker, and even called himself the Superior Spider-Man? Well, the correct answer is Dr. Octopus. Now, if you would have said Doc Ock, or even his real name, Dr. Otto Octavius, I also accepted your answer. And 6 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, the names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... Montica Rankin from Cullen, Louisiana. So congratulations, Montica. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, or rather episode 424, and this is a Batman question. True or false? In order to get to the Batcave from inside Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne has to move the hands on his grandfather clock to the exact time that his parents were murdered. Alright, let me repeat that. True or false? In order to get to the Batcave from inside Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne has to move the hands on his grandfather clock to the exact time that his parents were murdered. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on episode 424. So, I gotta ask, any questions?
Questions I walk around in, questions I tend to thrive in, questions I will survive in, questions.
I only have one question for this week, or this episode rather, and it's from Cheyenne Johnson from Locust Grove, Georgia. She asked, who is your favorite Power Ranger and why? Well, Cheyenne, it kind of irks me to even answer this because Well, first off, I just want to say that we found out that Jason David Frank had died over the weekend. And to me, he was always my favorite. Now, I've met other actors that have played Power Rangers. I met Johnny Young Bosch. I met Karen Ashley. Wish I would have gotten a chance to meet Jason David Frank. He was a very beloved actor. Everyone loved him. I honestly can't think of anyone that despised of him. And the reason why I liked his version, it's really the Dragon Zord version of the, and not the White Tiger. It's only because he was seduced by evil to take down the original Power Rangers, in which he did. But then he broke free only to become a Power Ranger. Now, and reports have said that he had killed himself, and I'm talking about Jason David Frank. Folks, I just want to go ahead and say this, but suicide is never a way out. And also, if you know anyone, I mean, that's going through something, whether they may be in a good mood or not, check on them. Because they may be smiling on the outside, but you have no idea what they're going through on the inside. I mean, mental health is something that's even now more than ever very important. I mean, we just have to check on each other. We can't just we can't just like see someone smiling and assume that everything's okay, because sometimes a smile can be a mask. And again, I'll say it again. Suicide is never the way out. Never. Yeah, but Cheyenne, thank you for that question. It kind of irked me to answer that, but and it also irked me to say everything that I had to say, because it's kind of hard to process. I mean, he was such a beloved actor. I can't think of anyone that despised of him. I mean, no one. But sometimes you just never know what someone is going through. That's why we need to be there for each other, through good or bad. All right, I'm going to have another question for episode 423. So there will be an Any Questions segment on that episode. All right, now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there's only one thing I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and that's the news that Sony and Marvel have announced a slate of live-action Spider-Man spin-off shows. And they're going to kick things off with a show called Silk Spider Society. And it's going to follow a character by the name of Cindy Moon, who gets bitten by the same radioactive spider that bites Peter Parker. And in this series, years have passed ever since then, and she finds herself locked inside a laboratory only to break free and search for her family. Now, in the comics, this also happened. And the person that locked her up in the laboratory was none other than Ezekiel Sims, who originally took Cindy under his wing only to torture her. And I was kind of hoping for Miles Morales. I think Miles would have been a much better choice, but I think this would also be great. And I honestly can't wait for any other shows to come out. Now, there hasn't really been an exact timetable for when this is going to premiere, or any casting or anything like that, but as soon as I find out, I'll let y'all know. But I think this is a great thing that they're doing, because the Spider-Verse was actually started by John Semper Jr. In the Spider-Man animated series that he developed in the 90s. And that is like one of the greatest animated series based on a comic book series that I've ever watched. And if you have never watched an episode of that, go on Disney Plus, watch a few episodes, you will not be disappointed. I mean, Semper did a wonderful job with that entire series. I think it lasted 5 or 6 seasons, but it was a masterpiece. So go on and watch. And I also think this is going to be a great thing. So, yeah. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Batman Superman World's Finest number 9. Black Adam number 6. Catwoman number 49. Dark Crisis Young Justice number 6. The Flash number 788. Gold Goblin number 1. Immortal X-Men number 8. Iron Man number 25, number 650 overall. She-Hulk number 8. Thunderbolts number 4. And finally, Wakanda number 2. Alright, that's 11, which brings the total number of comics I've bought since December of 1997 to 11,711. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for episode 424. True or false? In order to get to the Batcave from inside Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne has to move the hands on his grandfather clock to the exact time that his parents were murdered. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on episode 424. And congratulations to Montica Rankin from Cullen, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this episode. Alright, here's the road ahead for the show. On episode 423, which I'm doing in a few days, I'm raising awareness of diabetes. This month is Diabetes Awareness Month, and there are a lot of people throughout the world that have diabetes. And then there's some truths and myths about diabetes, and I'm going to explain it all on that episode. And then on episodes 424 through 427, I'm celebrating Christmas. And this entire desk is going to be decked out in Christmas decor. We're also going to have a Christmas tree, a few Christmas action figures. I'm going to wear some Christmas comic hero tees. It's really going to be, I really look forward. I look forward to doing every episode. But it's just something about, Christmas that really, I get so much joy doing Christmas episodes than I do any other episode of the show. And then on episode 428, it's going to be the year-end college football playoff edition of the Comic Hero Show. Now, the way that it's getting crazy. This is the final week of the regular college football season. Next week will be the conference games, and then we'll find out who is going to the college football playoff. And then on this episode, I'm going to wear 4 Comic Hero tees representing the 4 schools that are going to be in the college football playoffs. And yeah. Then on episode 429, it's going to be the first episode of 2023, and I'm going to wear a Comic Hero tee in observance of that. And then on episode 430, I'm going to show some love to the college football national champs. I mean, one thing about it, I love doing this show. I love showing love to others. I mean, who says I can't do it? I can't do a show about comic books and then show some love to other people and raise awareness of causes. Well, guess what? I can, I am, and I will. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. Go ahead and hit subscribe as soon as you're done. And then, if you have any suggestions or any constructive criticism, anything you think will help the show grow, please let me know. I mean, yeah, this is my show, but I'm not one of those blowhards that's going to say it's my show, I'll do it my way. I mean, yeah, I'll do it my way, but I'm not going to be that guy that's going to say, well, it's my show, I'll do it any way I want. I mean, I'm always open for suggestions. Always. As long as there's nothing tasteless. But, you know, in a world of, you know, I just want to go ahead and say this, but in a world of just mean-spirited people, be kind. It does not cost you anything to be kind to someone. It doesn't. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on The Comic Hero. I'll see you in a few days for episode 423. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!